Good afternoon, my Facebook friends and inquisitive minds, because that is what we are here for, to find out more information about postpartum depression and how can we help those moms in need. Today our topic is actually not about moms so much, and this is why. I have recently been approached by many mothers stating that they actually don't have the support from their partners, or their partners think that they're okay, there's no such illness, it's all in your mind, we just have to work at this together and it'll all be fine. No, that's not how this works, guys. And I would appreciate it if you guys took the time to actually share this with your spouses. For those mommies who just gave birth or are pregnant and would like to instruct and educate their partners. Men do suffer from postpartum depression just like we do. Although the difference is women have the tendency of understanding and dealing with what they're going through and accepting it, which most men don't like to accept the fact that they have a woman's illness. This isn't a woman's illness. It's something that just to see her I guess frustrated, tired, overwhelmed, trying to deal with the baby and such, it affects emotionally a parent to a great extent. Many people may wonder whether or not men can suffer from this illness. And in reality, men are very susceptible, even though they want to seem like they're real macho and that they don't have anything going on. They don't even want to accept that the woman has anything going on. My wife is fine. She's fine. She doesn't need this. She doesn't need to know about it. She's not struggling. I don't know how they don't notice that when you see like our eyes are in the back of our head, having to deal with waking up so many times with our children. Our children, I mean dad and mom's child, because she didn't make this little being herself. Unfortunately, there are not many help for men out there. There's more education for women, but men don't have the same support from society, and this is the whole problem about this situation. Society tends to make men feel like they have to be a macho. They have to be strong for the woman. They have to deal with all the situations and be strong and tough. And if you show a little bit of susceptibility or a little bit of feelings, you're weak. So, as I said, there's not much awareness for men's postpartum depression, but it does exist. It's not as common as postpartum depression in women, and that's the problem. So the condition often is undiagnosed, and men don't seek treatment for it. And there's approximately like 25% of new fathers that actually will suffer from this, from the symptoms of postpartum depression, and actually postpartum depression itself. However, only 10% of cases are voiced and are heard of, because men don't like to talk about these things. They tend to. There's a research has made it to where men's postpartum depression is called paternal postpartum depression, or paternal postnatal, because it's after women give birth that this is seen. If you have the suspicion maybe, or you think that your spouse is suffering from postpartum depression, it's best that you educate him and educate yourself on what to do, because they have a very totally different way of dealing with emotional problems. We deal straightforward with it and we try to find a solution. They have the tendency of trying to brush it off. It's not happening, and they think that by ignoring it, it's going to go away, when it does not. And this is what most of the time causes a gap between mom and dad, to where dad is most of the time trying to brush it off with his friends or out of the home, instead of actually dealing with the problem at hand. The common symptoms of paternal postpartum depression is mostly seen when they start showing problems of alcohol and substance abuse, maybe headaches, stomach aches, feeling easily stressed or frustrated, because they get more frustrated with the crying that we do. Violent. They tend to, I don't know why men have the tendency of dealing with their problems with anger. By you getting angry, it's not going to go away. By you being a jerk to your spouse, it's not going to go away. So you need to understand you are suffering from it just like she is. You feel unmotivated. You've kind of lost interest in the relationship and what's going around. You're changing your sleep. Your weight. You might be gaining weight, maybe losing weight, depending on how your stress, your body deals with the anxiety. Loss of appetite, just like mom does. Have you noticed that any of these symptoms correlate with mom's symptoms as well? Only thing is that we don't head out to go drink our problems away. Men tend to do that. And it's just some. It's not every single man, because men are different, just like women are. But you have to understand that if you start to present symptoms or activities that are not normal of you, there's something wrong. You just had a baby. This should be a very emotional, nice, happy feeling event in your life. Yet men tend to, if they get stressed, or if they see that, oh my gosh, my wife is suffering from something and I don't know how to deal with it because she doesn't know what she's suffering from. That's why it's sometimes very important that the woman understands what she's getting herself into when you're about to give birth. What are the things that could happen? So you can educate your spouse and letting him know, listen, this could affect me, but at the same time it can affect you too. So why don't we work on this together? You're going to see if another symptom that fathers tend to have when they're suffering from postpartum depression is that they withdraw socially. They're not as active with their friends anymore, or they don't go out to parties or gatherings or events with the family. They're trying to focus more on work and other things that'll distract their mind. You'll also see that they are impulsive and have a risky behavior, taking risks that they normally don't do. And as I said before, anger and irritability. So these symptoms may occur in men at any point. It's pretty much during the first year of the birth of the baby. So most commonly, the problem is that men who suffer from postpartum depression will not understand how it developed similar or even close to what the postpartum depression is with their companion or wife or girlfriend. There are many potential risks factors that contribute to postpartum depression in new fathers. A continual lack of sleep, of course, because also they're hearing the baby scream, or maybe they're having to deal with waking up along with mom to handle it. Some of them actually don't wake up and help you. They'll just have to deal with hearing the child scream. Tough titty, said the kitty. There's change in hormones. There's a high stress lifestyle, including with career and family. There's a lot of tension relationship with the spouse. And this, I always say, this tension that occurs between spouses is lack of communication. Take a moment to sit your partner down and explain to them this video. Let them know, listen, you could be having postpartum depression just like me. I'm dealing with it. Let's deal with it together. We both need sleep. We both need to be eating. We both need to be doing what we normally do. It's just that you're incorporating a new event in your life. You have to multitask. You're going to have to deal with the baby. You're going to have to help your spouse, taking turns. Who's going to give the baby milk today? Did you pump breast milk so I don't have to feel frustrated that I don't know what to do with this child because he doesn't want to drink a bottle of milk? He wants his mommy. Changing diapers. So sometimes men are kind of yucky in the diaper moment. So we need to address that situation as well. Sometimes there's a lot of lack of support from friends, especially when other men don't know that they could actually suffer from postpartum depression. What the heck is that? That sounds like a woman's illness. We're men and we don't get that. That's their... When you go into your friends and you're like, oh, hey, you know, I didn't even know, but I'm suffering from postpartum depression too. You don't want to get laughed at. And that's what men tend to do. They don't talk about these things. Men don't talk about emotional stuff together. They talk about maybe women problems, which they tend to talk a lot about that. They tend to talk about cars. They tend to talk about stupid stuff. But they really do not address emotional things between each other. It's like bro is just like a detached emotional friendship. I don't get that because we women are not like that. Poor relationship with the in-laws. This is a tricky one because men, it all depends their relationship before the baby was with their in-laws. And if you see that there is slightly a change in that relationship, there is something wrong. Lack of support from their own parents. Maybe his parents don't want to admit that their child is suffering from what? What's postpartum depression again? Isn't that something for women? So as I said, there's not much support from society on this problem. There's not much support from women in their relationship because sometimes we just see that we have a problem. It's not addressed that men can also get this. So, as I said again, I'm glad that most of you who do see this video understand that your spouse can be suffering from postpartum depression in a different way than you. Maybe even the same, but you have to pay attention to the signs. The signs are there. You just have to follow them. How was your spouse before you gave birth? What has changed? Is he sleeping the same way? Is he more angry or more irritable? Is he like going out more often than he used to? Oh, wait a minute. He used to spend more time with me before the baby came. What's going on? During the first year, you have to monitor the behavior of your spouse or your partner, because not everyone is married, but focus on what is wrong, what has changed, what is it that we need to look into. How's our relationship? Is he more detached from me? Is he like trying to get more my attention than used to? It's like if he were jealous that the baby is there. There's different things that can happen that can tell you and show you your partner is suffering from postpartum depression just like you. And as I said, it's called paternal postpartum depression. So it does exist. I already went over all the risk factors. Oh, there's another one. I'm so sorry. Financial depression. That could be a very good cause also to make a drift in the situation at hand. We're already in kind of like a depressive mode, and then now we have financial problems to put on top of that. That is going to cause a big aggravation to the condition. Maybe your spouse has a history of depression before. That is also a good question for mom. If mom had depression before she has the baby, there could be a very good risk at her getting postpartum depression. So if moms, I'm talking to the mother of this child, if your daughter, you see that she has had a history of depression before in the past, make sure you address with her what postpartum depression is, because she will need to know. She could easily be at risk of getting postpartum depression because she already had depression before. Even if it was in school years or something that happened in the family that caused that depression. So she could be at risk. Feeling excluded from the bond between mom and child is another risk factor for her fathers, because women sometimes when they are going through postpartum depression, they tend to be more attached sometimes to the baby because they feel that the baby's going to get hurt or something's going to happen to the baby. And this is part of the depression that she's already feeling. So when mom is actually being in this mode of something's going to happen to my baby, I have to protect him, she's not going to let daddy in. Daddy is going to be like a third party, not my partner. I don't see him that way. So when spouses or partners see that this is going on, it's difficult for them to understand. Most of the time when men are suffering from postpartum depression is because, one, they don't know what postpartum depression is. Two, they don't understand what their wife is going through. How am I going to help her? And I'm suffering from it? I don't think so. It can't be. I'm a guy. So, as I said, society doesn't help. And it's because you don't hear much about paternal postpartum depression. It's mostly just postpartum depression. It's something that women get. So we need to be educated. We need to educate our family, because the people around you might even be causing this rift between you and your spouse to be greater. So education is very important. I always tell you guys in every video, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you're able to address the problem at hand. Therefore, if dad already knows that there is a problem and that this could actually happen to him, then you need to let him know what's going on. So that way both of you can actually deal with the situation and be free of postpartum depression before it gets worse. I always stress moms most of the time when I hear that their spouse is actually saying, yeah, she's not suffering from that, you know. My wife is fine. I don't know why, but when I hear this, it aggravates me. It's just knowing, okay, you're ignorant at the fact that you don't know what postpartum depression is, one. And two, why isn't that she's not suffering from it? What makes you think or feel that your spouse is not suffering from postpartum depression? Do you know if you have it? Do you know that you could get it? It is very important for us as women to educate our men, because there's a lot of friends that he has out there that don't know what this is, and hence that's why they laugh at him. Really, dude? You have what? Man, that's a girl's thing. You don't have that shit. Sorry for the word. But that's pretty much how they address things. Like, get over it. You're a man. Toughen up. Okay, I'm a man, that I have feelings. We all do. Your feelings are not less than mine just because I'm a woman. My feelings aren't better than yours just because you're a man. We both feel the same. The only thing is that we address the problem and men lock it up. Because, as I said again, society makes us believe that men are machos and they have to be the strong guy behind the relationship that has to deal with problems, toughen up, and not cry. Really? Men don't cry. That's the first problem. If you are going through depression, that's going to happen. You're going to have really mixed emotions going on as a parent. You're going to have mixed emotions when you see your wife suffering from something that you don't know what to do about it. It's like fighting with a ghost. You can't punch a ghost. You can't throw a ghost out. It's there. You have to deal with it. So, men, I'm sorry to tell you this, but yes, you can suffer from postpartum depression. You need to stop being ignorant, gain knowledge, and educate your friends who believe that this is a girl's thing, because it is not a girl's thing. Not only mom and dad can suffer from postpartum depression, but even the family. The family. Because when your parents or her parents see that you guys are going through an emotional situation that they don't understand what it is, some education needs to be established between family. So if you guys just learned about this today, you need to address it with your family. I'm going to make sure to post a link to a website called postpartumdepression.org, where it actually speaks about postpartum depression in men. What are the risks? What are the symptoms? So you guys can educate yourselves and stop listening to society. It's time we break stigmas. Stigmas are something that are so hurtful and harmful, because as you have this stigma, as you believe that you don't have a problem, it gets worse. The more you ignore the problem, it's not getting better, honey. It's getting cooped up and cooped up and cooped up, and when that ball decides to explode, all hell breaks loose. We don't want it to get to that way. We don't want to lose mom. We don't want to lose the baby. And we definitely don't want to lose dad. Depression is serious. It's not something to be joked with. And postpartum depression, mom is suffering from a hormonal imbalance, but daddy most likely is suffering from an emotional distress, which is causing him to fall into postpartum depression. So education is really needed with this with this illness. It's not a disorder. It's not something that's not going to go away. It can be treated. We can heal together. And I always say depression is mostly here. There's no medication that's going to be able to help you deal with the monsters you have created in your head, because we are our worst enemies when it comes to attacking ourselves. We can actually make ourselves feel more crappier than normal because we overthink things, and sometimes dealing with babies that have problems. They might be colic babies. There might be a baby who is sleepless, restless, a baby that is emotionally attached to his mommy and needs like more attention. Maybe a baby that's actually suffering from an illness per se. And it's hard for parents to deal with babies that have problems and issues. So to have to deal with something like postpartum depression, you have to seek help if it's too difficult for you to deal with on your own. But knowledge is power. Knowledge is what's going to make you help you get out of this situation faster, because you can deal with what you know you have. If you are ignorant to the fact of what's going on, how are you going to address it? So therefore, today, my education is mostly for fathers and family members. Not so much for mommies, because I believe I've done many videos for mommy. But I think it's really necessary that men stop thinking that their wives don't have anything, that nothing is wrong with her. She does have a situation. She is in distress and needs your help. So get your head out of the society and start focusing on your family, because they need you. They need you to be wise. They need you to be smarter. They need you to focus on the problem and deal with it. And I leave you guys today with this. The next video that I will be making will be in Spanish, so that our audience, our Latin audience, which sometimes are a little bit more difficult in dealing with their emotions, can understand that this is something that happens to them as well. So, till tomorrow or the next time that we have a video. I hope this helps you guys a lot. I hope it actually helps educate more people about postpartum depression. And the more we educate people, the better it will be to deal with, and to help moms and dads and families understand the problem and try to find a good solution. Have a nice day.